Hello. Welcome in everyone to the Challenge After Show. Tonight, Jenna and I are talking about the Challenge Season 40, Episode 19 of Battle of the Eras, End of an Era, Part 2. Part deux.
Okay,
Part
part
deux.
two. I thought it was gonna say I'm in my part two of the final era.
You know what? We should have workshopped that with them because we may have gotten it. They
I'm
might have been
sure
like,
that
oh,
was in
that's a
the mix.
lot better. That's a lot better.
It's not, but that's why I think it was in the mix because it's actually terrible. So therefore, I'm sure it was pitched as the episode title.
Yeah. I started last week, as I recall, saying how much I loved part one. So why don't you tell me how much you loved part two of this final?
Okay, I will say that I loved certain parts. Well, I don't know if I would say loved. Loved is strong. I would say I liked certain parts and I disliked certain parts.
Okay.
We never made it to solid ground, Dan. So much talk of, yes, this is a lot of swimming. Yes, it's a lot of water, but
Yeah.
it is day one and there is room for more versatility. There is room for people to shine if they're not the best swimmer. We never got to that point. So this was a water only, pretty much, outside of like the counting the coins and the singing, which we'll get to. There's a few things sprinkled in there. It's obviously a lot of mind games and a lot of endurance mentally and physically. But this was a water. This was an Aquaman challenge.
They were on an island at one point, Jenna. They have the island going for them, so there
You're
you go.
right. They did have math on an island. So yes, that's what I mean. There were some mind games, of course. There was a lot of mental parts of it. There was puzzles, there was strategies, but in terms of the aerobic, the athletic part of this final, this was all water. And the thing is, in totality, when you look back, you'll remember that about this season. You'll remember, oh my gosh, remember that final that was completely in the water. And that's what's cool about shows like this that have multiple seasons. Like you can remember things by certain indicators. So like, yeah, this is the water final. And like that's cool in a certain way. It's beautiful. It was visually pleasing. It's so blue, the water, it's so vibrant. All
Right.
the
That's why, yeah,
yeah.
go on, sorry.
The
Yeah.
green mountains, you feel like you're scuba diving with them. You feel like you're snorkeling. It's gorgeous. You're underwater. The camera quality of everything was beautiful.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it comes down to a similar sentiment that I had last week is I just feel bad for Kylan. I mean, and it's probably because I like him so much, but somebody commented on our show last week and said they did a count of how much swimming they did in this final. And I have to pull it up. I want to make sure I fact check myself here. So
Yeah, it
I'll
was like it's a ridiculous amount compared
was
to what they
more
even did
than
during the seasons. Yeah, right.
yes, it was more than just oh, there's a lot of
Healthy.
swimming, but you should be good at swimming. This is, the challenge and you get ready for it. It was an obscene, unnatural amount of maybe obscene is a harsh word, but
Well, I mean, look, in my defense, I'll say this. I liked part two as well, and I have a few complaints, but mostly overall, I did like it. But like, remember when there's like a final where you're in the desert, right? And you're hot. Remember, like Ninja passed out on a bike at one point.
yeah.
Throughout the season to get there, yeah, but they weren't like they were also in a desert, but they weren't like having to be out there the entire time. Then there was that other season where CT and Diem were like in the cold and like they were like freezing their asses off. But like no one was like, well, that's not fair to someone that's not good in the cold. Like to me, it's just like, look, maybe next year they're gonna have to do something completely different that has nothing to do with water. And we're going to be like, okay, that's what this one is. So I don't know. I get that they don't do water every time. I think it's also hard because, like, what in those freezing cold ones, you can't do water because it's all frozen, right? In the desert ones, there might not be any water for them to use. And this was just, they happen to be in an area with a lot of water around them and they decided to go for it. And I give the producers props for trying it.
I'm sorry.
I mean, is this me? Is that my voice? Whose voice is this?
I'm really sorry. Keep
You're
going.
really trying to find this comment about the water. I mean, but I agree with you. I get it. Yes, there's more water in this final than there's ever been in an entire season or something. I totally agree. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy watching it. And like you said, even visually watching it was a lot more entertaining to me, however you want to call it, than watching somebody run through the woods or run in the desert. And I don't know who's in first, second, or third place. I definitely knew who was in first, second, and third place this time most likely because I could just guess that it was Jordan. But at the same time, I was able to keep track of who was winning and who wasn't. So I don't know. To me,
And
I
I
was
mean, it
perfectly
is
fine with this final.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because you see somebody like Bananas who is so dominant. And, last week I said that for the most part, everybody was doing generally pretty good at swimming. It really was Kyland who was the clear person taking the deficit. Although this really messed with Tori's game, and I think it messed with Bananas' game because I think otherwise, had this been they're running miles versus swimming, Tori and Bananas would have been in better positions, I think. It really kind of leveled them down. Same with Rachel. So it was hugely affected Rachel's game. And it made people like Jenny and Michelle shine, which was maybe
Yeah.
a little less expected and surprising. So it's kind of cool in that way. Where you can see people who maybe you didn't expect to do well because it was all swimming. Like in
Yeah. And
order
how
to
about this too? Like
keep
you said you felt bad for Kylan and whatnot. I feel bad for Tori because she literally had to be in an elimination. Now, mind you, it's her fault she
swimming.
was there, but she participated in like a 3 hour elimination and then went right into the final. So like, she's already 3 hours behind in being like tired. So I just think it's just my biggest issue with this final was actually the karma points. And we'll get into that. I had a big issue with this.
Well,
I think this was a mistake.
yeah.
I didn't like the stars in the other one. I don't like the karma points in this one. I don't like how it affected the end. I also think that producers, I have a huge conspiracy. If we want to get into the karma point conspiracy that I have, I
Hmm.
think, let me throw this at you, Jenna. When did they tell the competitors what the karma points actually meant? Like, when did they tell them like what they were going, how they were going to affect the game? When did they tell them?
You mean the players in the final?
Yeah, when did they tell the players in the final when the karma, like, what the karma points actually meant and how they were going to affect the ending?
In a fully detailed way, I think it was
Yes.
not until everybody completed everything and was on
You,
back on the boat. But they did say once the final, the whistle blew for the first checkpoint. I think they, but once they got on the SS Sinister, they did say like, "Hey, you're doing this final. I can't even say running. You're swimming a final. You're competing in a final, but there is also this other part of it where if you burned people, it could come back to hurt you. So they
right.
did allude to it. They
But
prefaced
no
it
details,
with
Jenna,
it.
correct? No
No, not
details.
no detailed. And also, I may have missed this, and I am more than willing to admit that and expose myself, but I don't think I remember them breaking down the details of how much first, second, third, and fourth meant in terms of your checkpoints until tonight.
Jenna,
You?
you're nailing my
But
whole
my
cons.
husband remembered, but he was like, "No,
Oh,
they
I
said
didn't.
that."
I
I
didn't.
think he dreamt it. So,
Well, maybe he was thinking because first, second, third, fourth, there was four people, so maybe he thought first place gets 4 points, three, two, and one. But my point is, with this whole conspiracy, is none of these details were given to the competitors until the
right.
end. Literally,
That's how I felt. Yeah.
producers can fudge this however they want to make whatever winner they want. So, for example, let's just pretend that your husband Matt's right, that it was 4-3-2-1. Okay, that
From the
we knew
beginning.
that. We knew that from
Clarify.
the that's I'm fine with thinking that. I don't think so either though. But my big issue is with the karma points. Okay. They said at the end, oh, just so now TJ announces to the audience in part two, just to us, oh, just so you know, the karma points are going to be worth 2 checkpoints. That's obviously all done after this is done. Yeah, I know your lighting is great. Who cares? All right, so my point with this is they literally were like, let me ask you this, Jenna. Why the hell were the karma points like for 2 checkpoints? Why can't it just be 1 checkpoint? Why couldn't it be three? Why did they pick it was worth 2 checkpoints? I don't know. So Rachel could actually matter in one of the men's, they couldn't fudge it. They couldn't think of a way. It just happened. It all worked out. But like we have to make these karma points worth something, or what the hell was the point of it all season? So like let's make it worth 2 checkpoints at the end after we know the standings so that it actually matters and Michelle gets screwed and Rachel gets to be bumped from third to a tie for first. It's all manipulated by the producer so it could actually mean something. That's my conspiracy. They made it up at the end. Maybe originally, well, we'll have it worth one. They'll get 4 extra points, three, two, and one. They're like, no, that doesn't affect the standings though. We'll make it worth 2 checkpoints. How random, Jenna. And that's
It
my
does
problem with this final.
Yeah, it leaves you wondering why. It just has you scratching your head. And I mean, they're the game makers, they can do whatever they want. But you're right. The fact that they decided to introduce it, the place and time that they did, it just, for me personally, it just left me feeling like the karma points fell a little bit flat. The fact that it didn't influence the men's portion of the final to me was like, then what the fuck was the point? And it's like, whatever. If that's how it really shook out, then that's fine because crazy things do happen in real life. You've ever watched a professional sport game? Sometimes crazy shit just does happen. And you're like, oh my God, it's like they couldn't script that any better. That wouldn't even have made it into a movie or a TV show. But when you're watching a final and you're thinking, like, yeah, I mean, Jordan was head and shoulders above everybody, but Derek and Bananas were pretty close. And Derek had a lot of karma points. Like, it just felt like to me, how did this really not influence the outcome of this game? And then why are we
Because
watching
Jordan, well,
it?
because
Just
first of
to
all,
be
because Jordan was so dominant, and thank God Jordan was. If he had lost even one or two more of those, then you would have had Derek as the winner of the final based on the literally eight additional points that he got on top of his other score when he was already placing in second a lot of the times during the final. So.
yeah, yeah. So maybe Derek was just better than Banana. I mean, I don't know. To me, it just kind of felt like
Well, no matter what, I mean, the boys shook out. No matter Bananas got his third because the guys deserved what they got based on the final. Maybe not
they
based on the
did,
entire
sure.
season, but based on the final, they all placed, I thought, appropriately based on their performance in the final. The girls is not the case.
It just left me a little disgruntled, like a little bit of a pill to swallow. Like, okay, like I'm just supposed to like sit here and take it. Like we're thinking these karma points, and then we get to the end of the final, and it's like the karma points didn't matter for you men, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, well, move on then, I guess, whatever. I
I'm
mean,
no, I'm more shook up about the ones that did. Like, I'm glad that it didn't affect the guys because I think they all placed appropriately where they should have. I'm more upset by the
fair,
girls. I mean, I know
fair,
we're
good
jumping
point.
way far ahead here, but like in your honest opinion, Jenna, if I ask you straight up, did Rachel deserve to win? Literally, she's a champion of this season based on her finals performance. Now, based on her overall performance, you can say that, but like every season comes down to how you perform in the final, not how you performed all year. That got you there. You got there because of how you performed there. Now you have to do a whole different thing for the final. Because during the
Or yes,
regular
if you're
season,
gonna
you're
be
not running 18 miles. You know what I mean? Like to get to the
Yeah.
final.
If you are going to be the final winner, then yes, it should be a great, outstanding performance in the final. However, it is important how you play during the game because it is what
Well, you
gets you.
never get there, Jenna. Of
Of course.
course it is.
But like
You
if
never
we're
get
leaving that
there.
in the past, yes, turning that off, entering the final, yes, obviously it should be like a very well-rounded, complete final performance. But the thing is, with the karma points though, as much as I'm just saying that they fell kind of flat. It didn't feel like it made this maybe as big of a splash as it should have. And just in terms of the men, for the women, it obviously did rearrange a lot of stuff and cause a lot of waves. But the thing with the karma vote is I mean, it really is part of the game. So as much as you can say you hate it that it boosted Rachel up when you feel like she didn't compete that well in the final, it is the game though. Like you can't hate the player, you can only hate the game. Like this was part of this season. Like we knew it start to finish that there was karma points. We knew people were voting and we knew that it was going to influence the final. Like that, we understood that. So, and I want to use an example to put it more in perspective. I don't know if you saw this, but Bananas did an interview with Entertainment Weekly where he was
Hmm.
quoted bitching and moaning about the karma points. So I will read a direct quote from him because bitching and moaning is Jenna's indirect paraphrasing of my interpretation of reading it. But he says, I could have sat in the corner and read a Bible the entire season and not made waves with anybody in the house, and my karma vote probably still would have been the same. Johnny tells
Yep.
Entertainment Weekly. That has nothing to do with karma. It should have been called an envy vote or a jealousy vote. The simple fact is, people are envious and jealous of the amount of time that I've won, and they don't want to see that happen anymore. And listen, yes, you are a seven-time winner. I think that comes with the territory bananas. Like, people don't want to play against you because you always win. So,
Yeah.
one element one is that's him kind of whining about it. And the other part of it is But you weren't saying that when you stole the money from Sarah. Had you been on the receiving end of somebody stealing money from you, I can't imagine the way you would have bitched and moaned how that happened. But you took advantage of whatever the game rules were when it benefited you. These were the game rules this final. It was a karma.
And that's but that goes to my point though, and I agree with everything you're saying is very spot on because it is what it is, bananas. Those are the rules this season, and it didn't benefit you this season. It benefited you when they randomly said, "Hey, do you want to split the money with Sarah or keep it?" Well, that season you got extra money. This season you got less money. You still got money either way, but it all is going to even out, right? It's all going to just work itself out. So, but that brings me to my point of the final. Well, this is the final they threw at them. So anybody complaining that there's too much swimming, I'm sorry, that's just what it is. So I
Yeah.
can't get on board with that side of it.
I know because I'm like, there's too much swimming. And then I'm like, but there's karma boats. You just have to suck it up.
Right.
You just
I know
can't,
it's
you,
so it
you
is what
can't,
it is, but
yeah,
yeah, that was
yeah.
just my example though with the
Uh,
PowerPoints of the producers totally being able to manipulate it however they wanted to. But
but another part, no, I agree with you. I want to come back to that. But another part while I'm still thinking of bananas is either way, the karma vote didn't even affect the men.
no, no.
Bananas, you came in clean third. You were in third. It didn't matter
100%.
about the karma vote. So why are you bitching? And I felt like it was such an excuse to just be like, everyone's jealous of me and I'm the best one who's ever been on the show. And it's like, okay. But also you got solid third. That was your placement on this season. And
Yep.
that's what it is, bro. And I was surprised Leroy only threw him a one. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
Leroy, like
that was interesting.
yeah, and it seems to be that is clearly what's ruffling bananas is because Leroy made that clear comment. You've won too many of these. Like you're my boy, but you've won enough of these. I'm giving you a one.
Yeah.
Let's give someone else the win.
Look,
So
I
that's
think
where
it's
he's drawing that from. But yeah, it
I
was
think it's
sour
hard.
grapes.
Here's the issue: is it's harder and harder for these veterans to keep coming back. One, because they have so much history with the challenge, and people know they know their gameplay already. Basically, like when Wes comes into a house and he says he wants to work with you, you're not gonna be like, okay, man, but maybe in the first season you would. And second, they're getting older now and the competition's getting younger. So even if Bananas is there and he's never won anything before and he's a vet and he's been there forever, his body can't literally do what it used to do. Like it's just, he's in his 40s now. I know the feeling. I cannot do what I used to do. So he has two things working against him, I think. And I think that's really important to understand too with Bananas. They know your game and you're getting older, dude. It's going to be harder and harder for you to win every time you get there. And not just based on the fact that everyone knows you've already won. Well, is it seven? It's seven times.
Yeah, and the
You're
thing
also
is, like,
older, man. Like, come on, dude.
yeah. And what we're like, I feel like the greater point of what we're making is like the game is the game. It always is, as annoying and maybe biased as it might feel or unfair quote air quotes to whoever that is competing. And you can still naturally like feel bad for somebody you're rooting for. Like a Kylan, it's only his second season on the show. He performed so well. I thought he did so great, and I feel like he would have performed so well in a final. That's why I just kind of feel bad for him that it was point blank, like only swimming and underwater stuff.
Yeah.
But with bananas, it's just kind of hard to feel bad for him. Like, sure, maybe you have a few more odds against you when you walk into the house now, but it's like, but we can't feel bad. You've won seven. You stole the money from your partner. You
Yep.
make these sort of very tense relationships. You've never apologized or taken accountability for anything you've ever done to anybody. So, yeah, if you're gonna say like, well, everyone's just jealous of me, and this is bullshit that it came down to people who were losers and people who lost voting against you. It's like, I just can't feel bad for you. If you're trying to make it seem like, this is unfair because people who left the show voted against you, yeah,
Yeah.
no one's feeling bad.
I want to give props to every competitor in the final. Not one of them quit. Every once in a while,
Yeah.
either someone gets hurt and has to quit or just quits because they can't do it. So I do want to give props to every single one of them. Every single person completed the final. Even like a Kylan who like knew he must have known he had no chance at hell. I mean, maybe he thought the common points might help, but he must have known he had no chance at hell of even placing, but he still obviously completed it. I wanted to point out the Michelle thing that happened for a few reasons. One, because I do think overall at the end, that she definitely deserved to at least have the second place win for multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. One, because they literally had a tie between Jenny and Rachel. So technically, they split that first place money, the 425,000, whatever it was. So technically, nobody got the money for second place for the girls. And then Michelle just got the 25K for third place. So that 75K throw Michelle a bone here. She technically got second. Like, let's be real here. I know the karma points screwed her to third, but give me a break. So there's that. But also on the flip side of Michelle, because I'm giving her a ton of props right now, and that's very not Dan-like. I want to throw the other side in. Technically, Michelle could not finish the final. And let me give you my example for it.
I know,
She could
yeah.
not pull herself up on that raft. She could not literally get her boat rowing at one point. She used Kylan 3 different times to complete that one checkpoint, whatever one it was. I think it was the checkpoint 5, the submerging terror one, where they, yeah, that's the one I think. So just throwing that out there, I don't know if Michelle would have finished that checkpoint. I think she would still be out there right now unless producers got. So I'm just throwing that out there too.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you're saying because, like, it's again all these nuances is a part of the game where it's like you're saying, "Wow, Michelle performed really well in this final. She probably does deserve more." And it came down to these karma votes. It's against what I'm saying about bananas about this just being, "Hey, this is the game. This is the format of the game." But you can still feel bad for certain people where you feel like, "Oh, you really gave it your all and you like beat people out in the swimming, you performed, and here you are kind of getting your money pot robbed." But you're exactly right. I mean, Michelle took an L on that one checkpoint that it was almost like it was first hard enough to see her struggle trying to get herself on that little deck. But then when she dropped her paddle and she was just a complete mess during
Well,
that checkpoint.
her boat was half on the dock and half in the
Oh,
water.
it
She's like, I
was
can't move.
such a
I can't
mess.
move.
It was actually like comic relief for me. And I was just laughing at like what a turn this took. Like she was doing so well. And then as soon as the swimming stopped, like now we're actually paddling a boat. So maybe this one isn't actually like pure swimming the whole time. Then she completely loses it.
Yeah. I mean, and look, it took the only thing Jordan wasn't good at was having to paddle with the oar, and the guy's got one hand. So, like, dude, like, how could he not be not as good at that? You can't grip onto the damn paddle, the oar, and he still finished in second for that one. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Jordan, I
Yeah.
just thought Jordan just dominated this whole thing if we want to,
And I
break
think
down
we
his
should
stuff. But
go, yeah, let's go through the checkpoints from the top because we pick back up where they're counting coins. I just wanted to say one
yeah.
thing I had said when you talked about the con like you see it as a conspiracy kind of, using the karma votes. I just wanted to come
Hmm.
back to uh yeah, it leaves you just feeling like why only 2 checkpoints? Like it just leaves you a little bit questioning.
Because
And
they
then
can
it
make,
didn't
they could,
affect them. Yeah, because the fact that it didn't affect the men and then it affected the women so much. It's like, why did you settle on two? And it might not be I don't want to believe in conspiracy when I'm watching the show, even though
uh,
it's a reality TV show. It goes into an editing booth. There are producers there. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be that naive, but in terms of fun and enjoyment and watching a show we want to be entertained by, I just want to like, all right, well, I'm just going to hope that this was the choice from the beginning, before they traveled to the Philippines that they were like, okay, we're gonna make the final 2 checkpoints. We don't know. We're not in
right.
the behind the scenes, but yeah, to introduce it that way it just leaves you kind of like trying to connect the dots, trying to fill some gaps. So you're like, okay, I guess I just got to take this for what it
Right.
is, and
Like
all
all
right.
they had to do, Jenna, if you're right, and they knew the whole time before the final started, okay, so these karma points are going to be worth 2 checkpoints because we have the final. Well, I think that's fair. Then announce it at the beginning. But no, of
Well, I
course you
guess they
didn't.
can't, right? Because then it
Why
affects
not?
it affects the game the finalists are playing. Maybe it'll affect like, okay, I mean they have to put the pedal to the metal regardless. I don't think that it can,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
but I think there's some
how could it
sense of
really
like,
affect the final if they
I
announced
mean,
it ahead of time?
maybe they weren't thinking that Jordan was just going to absolutely like blow all of the
Then
men
that's
out of the
on them because we know how
really.
they know how Jordan swims. He's been on this show forever now. The guy joined back on like Rivals. Was it the original Rivals? Him and his real world guy there,
Oh
Big
yeah.
Zeus or something. What's his name? The
I
big
don't think
black
he's
guy.
Big Zeus. I don't know. Maybe you would know better than me, actually.
Um,
Wait, he was on, no, he was
he
on
was on Rivals with his
Big
real world cast
Zeus.
member. Okay, I'm
Big
telling you, I might be wrong, but I'm not fully wrong, I feel like. And if I am, then people
Real world
get at me on the
4K.
comments. His name is not really Zeus. I thought he went by something like that. Hold on.
I don't know.
Jordan Rivals partner. Jordan Rivals partner.
Oh,
Marlon Williams.
Marlin. He called, oh, did he
I
call
think
himself
is his
Zeus?
Instagram Zeus or something? Did I
Oh,
follow
okay.
more?
Then I don't know. Marlin. Yes, it was Marlin. Marlin for sure. I just
Marlon
was
Williams
remembering a big
Instagram.
Zeus at all.
I know. I feel like I'm. Damn it! What the hell? Why did I think it was Zeus or something?
Let me
Anyways,
see.
yeah, it's Marlon though. Someone will tell me
Yeah,
in the
no, you're
comments.
right. I think his Instagram, I think this is him. He's Black Zeus Fit is his Instagram.
See, I was
Is
close.
this him? Is
I don't know.
this?
I
No, this can't
swore
be
his
him.
Instagram was.
Oh my God, he looks massive. Is this? I don't think this is him. I think this is somebody else. No, this is him. Oh my God, he's massive now.
All right. See, I knew I wasn't.
He
I'm looking
is
it up to make sure I'm not.
indeed Zeus.
See, knew it. I knew it.
What?
I knew I wasn't making. Yeah, this is totally him. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. But
Haha. I'm not
less
losing my mind as much as I thought I was. Anyways,
not.
Marlon and him were on like, and so but my point is he's been doing this for forever. Okay, let's let's count some
Oh,
coins, people. So Jenna,
yeah.
I think the coins were just all worth one. I thought that maybe the different sizes meant something, but I think they were each just worth one. They had to
Good
count them
question.
up. But some
I
of the
couldn't tell
numbers
you.
that they were getting, like Derek was at 6,088, Bananas at 6,300. They counted 6,000 coins. Holy hell. Not fun. This was but it was also a unique and fun. The fact they had to go back and forth every 30 minutes too. I mean, this is a lot. It's a lot. I was
No,
hoping to
I
get
mean,
more complaining from Jenny. Jenny just gave up and put them all in, and she still placed third. So, I mean, what the hell's going on, Jenna? I
I
don't know.
thought she was gonna be even closer when she threw all of her shit in the treasure box. I was like, I'm going to bed. I loved it, and I wish Pam was here because I had to explain to my husband that Pam like has something out against Jenny, but we just like couldn't agree. Like I just thought it was so funny that she was like, fuck this, throwing in the towel. And we were like, she still might get first or second in this. Like with because you start to see everybody's guesses. And for somebody who did not finish guessing, she was right in the mix. And she ended up
Right.
being third, so not as close as we thought. But in fourth place was the person who was diligently sitting there at a snail's pace, the last to finish, Tori, which seems like, well, if she's going to be last and get the least amount of sleep, at at the most optimism, you think that she gets it all right. You know, if you're going to be the slowest,
Hmm.
then you think that maybe you're going to be the most accurate. And I think she was so sleep deprived, so
Yeah.
confused that this really messed her
Look,
up.
I don't think Tori's the best swimmer. I don't think this final was technically made for her, but I honestly don't think that that 3 hour of waiting in the water against Kara and then going
Oh,
directly into the
yeah.
final helped her by any means. It did not do her any favors. So,
No,
um,
it's totally true.
yeah,
Yeah, but she, I mean, she was by far like almost
yeah.
without
So in
a
that one,
thousand coins off to be the slowest counter and be almost 1,000 coins off is
and this was
insane.
the first. This was like Rachel's. I think maybe Rachel's one and only first place victory, I think. Maybe there might have been one other, but I can't, I don't think so. So this is the one time where Rachel's like, oh, well, maybe Rachel does have a chance. Maybe these karma points, if she's close, and it ended up ultimately affecting it. But I was like, okay, well, that
Yeah.
puts her a little bit more into it. But if you look at the overall, Rachel's finishing in third place like pretty consistently, which is where
Yeah.
she literally organically placed before they affected before the karma votes affected anything. So
Yeah. I mean, outside of Jordan, everybody was dragging ass this entire final. Like I think it's so funny after the whole counting the coin thing.
mhm.
We don't know what's going to be next. Like, you know, you and I and Pam are thinking maybe they're going to go to land. Now we're going to switch gears, right? We're going to get off this
Yeah.
boat. When the realization sinks in that you're not going to, and they realize they're just going to keep swimming, they showed Michelle at one point just being like, I feel, and Rachel's face the entire final. I just felt like she's so strong and she's such, you know, like this fit, mentally strong person, but she was wearing it on her face. Like I
Yeah.
felt she like she's not a quitter by any means, but I felt like she maybe was thinking about it at certain times. Like her
Yeah.
face was like, fuck this. And so many times with bananas, like they were just wearing it on their faces that this was like straight up misery.
Hmm. Any other thoughts on the coin stuff? I mean,
I just really liked it. I thought it was a
yeah, me
fun,
too.
quirky, like something to shake things up. I thought it was really funny that they had to sing. I loved seeing like the progression of the beginning of them singing. They think it's so funny and silly, and they're all in this together doing sea shanties. And then by the end, it's like Yeah, like they're rocking back and forth in a straitjacket,
Yep.
like they can barely get the words out. But Tori, Tori's just up there still singing her heart song. Even when she's
Yep.
tired, she's still like giving it some oomph and some power and like holding notes and things.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
funny.
you rarely hear Tori complain
Yeah, she's super
about she just kind of just
optimistic.
like does it. She's like, I mean, but I mean that's how everyone's attitude should be. You signed up for this. It's not like they made you do it. Like it's part of the game. You don't know what you're going to get every season. That's part of the game too. So get ready for the most random stuff and she did great. So not in
Yeah,
this final, but over like see that's the thing too is Tori had a great season and a really bad final. Rachel had a really great season and not a great final too. Michelle to me had a really great season and a really great final. I mean, I don't know. I just it's and then she gets, shafted down to third place. It is what it is. So
yeah.
Jenny,
Um,
okay season, really good final.
yeah,
What's it
I
gonna come
feel
down
like
to?
Jenny and Michelle, I feel like have maybe they don't. I was gonna say they have similar sort of seasons in terms of they had to go into elimination a few times and they won in elimination. Like they had to fight for their stake in the game, but Michelle did have more alliances and more friends. Well, actually, no. Jenny made it to Bananas as Angel, so she
Yeah.
did find her community, her tribe at
Oh,
one point.
what a good community.
Yeah.
Okay. Checkpoint five was called Submerging Terror. This is where they had to, what did they have to do? Oh, they had to swim, right? And then they had to, they got a paddle at one point, didn't they? And they had to submerge down, obviously, and get open a key or something. And then they got a kayak, though. I was like, okay, finally, they are technically not on dry land, but they have a kayak. So that was interesting. But we
This
kind of
was
talked about it earlier. I talked about Michelle struggling. Obviously, Kylan struggled every time. I don't know. The problem is that since every checkpoint was literally kind of a mirror of itself with a different twist, you kind of knew who was already in first, second, and third place each time. You knew Jordan was going to be in first, Bananas and Derek were going to kind of switch off, and Kylan would be in last. That was the guys. And then for the girls, it was kind of like the Jenny and Michelle show with Rachel pulling in
no,
third,
I
and
think
then I don't
it
know.
ended up being, if I'm remembering correctly, I think
I
Tori
wrote it
actually
down.
I think Tori, so did I, but my whatever, how I watch these shows sometimes. I'm like, where are we?
Tori finished second here. It looks
But
like.
she
Yeah.
got out first from what I remember, right? So she actually got out of the submerged part of it and got her box out of the ropes first, is what I think. And then the other
Okay,
girl
and then Jenny
caught up to
passed her
her.
in the rowing.
Yeah. Yeah, and same thing. And Michelle was the last one out of the rope area, as we saw, struggling,
Right.
paddling, needing Kylan to do cheer stunts to get her up.
Yeah.
Um, but she made up for it in the swim. Like she came back, right? And she
Well,
didn't
no, there
finish.
was, but the end was just a kayak. So she or the
Oh,
it's not really a
I'm
kayak. It's like a
confusing it
canoe
with
kind
another
of.
checkpoint then, maybe.
Right. No, she
Maybe.
came back in a different one in the final checkpoint, which was the underwater scooter thing. But that was kind of like
Um,
everybody. Well, no,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, I thought this was a a very and I'm just laughing because I'm thinking about like how I've described me in water in the last because you're so like gung-ho about this being a water challenge because you can place yourself there and you see yourself performing
That's
very
not the
well.
only reason, but I think it's visually a lot more entertaining to watch people in the water try to do stuff versus running. It's like I've seen someone struggle running for like a million times on this show, and this was something different to see someone struggle doing
I
this. But yeah,
I mean, on top of all the swimming you've done, on top of how sore and tired you are, on top of the
right.
fact you've had no sleep, I think getting under there, undoing knots in rope underwater is so difficult. And you're deep diving. By the time I would
No,
get
I
down to that rope, I'm going right back up. I
right,
don't
but
think I
that's and you know
this.
what? You're and see, this is you can't introduce a game like this. Well, you could in the middle of the season. You'd actually see a lot more people struggle. You had the best of the
Yeah.
best in theory. If you had people that really like, you think Kara? I wonder what Kara would have
People
done if
would
she
be
had made this
dropping like
final.
flies. People would be DQing, timing out,
Right.
quitting. This would not be doable, I don't think, in a mid-season. Yeah, you're right. It would show a lot of colors. It would show a lot of people. Um, but do you ever play that game when you're little where you try to do whatever the person is doing in the show or the movie that you're watching to see if you can do it
Oh,
too?
you hold your breath game. Yeah, so you
Doing,
hold your breath.
yes,
Yeah.
when someone's doing something so heroic and you're like, okay, let me try to do it with them. Not even a quarter of the time, Dan. I'm trying to hold
Really?
my breath with them, and I'm like, like immediately, because even just watching them do it was stressing me out. I could not even, like, in solidarity, try to hold my breath with them for even a quarter of the amount of time that they were doing
Yeah.
it. And I was like, that would be so impossibly hard. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's
especially
really
I mean,
hard
especially after
one.
being sleep deprived and you can't hold your
Yes.
breath as long. Your lung capacity is probably not as good. You're already winded from the damn swim. All the above. I mean, and that I mean that will get us into our next checkpoint, which is like the checkpoint 6, which is the sandbar mathematical leisure. Like to me, I was so Stacy was sitting next to me on the couch, and we were playing along. See, this was what I loved about this one was we could actually play along with them. So like I had the subtitles up, but I would like block the subtitles and I would just listen to TJ say the numbers, and then Stacy and I competed against ourselves and against the competitors, see who could say
Nice.
the number out loud first. So much fun. But
Yeah.
Stacy said out loud, she goes, "Yeah, but like the pressure when you're there must be harder." And then I added, I'm like, "Well, yeah, and Stacy, you're exactly right." And also, they haven't slept in 2 days and they're winded from everything. I mean, all of that combined, your brain must be mush because
Yeah. Because
obviously
they were,
we were beating them to the punch, but we were also sitting at the
yeah.
leisure of our house.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Because they were simple enough math
yes,
equations. They're not doing like these long-winded or like algebra find X sort of things. They're not having to do all of these like long form division. They were like simple enough, but kind of trippy enough that some were easier than others, I think. I mean, depending on
for sure,
how well
yeah.
you know your timetables. But yeah, because like the people who lost, I feel like were right there and they just didn't answer it quick enough. And it was surprising to see, like, I don't know, I thought Michelle was more of a smarts type of competitor, and she was really like taking L after L, not getting the math. Like I was surprised to see just how
She admitted, well, didn't she? I mean, she did a math elimination this season or whatever, but she admitted that
yeah,
she's
well,
not the
she
best at
did for
math.
them.
So
Yeah, she did
in
it. It's fine.
general,
Like I didn't realize that going into it.
right, right.
But yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I should have because she did do a math elimination previously. I think it was against Naya because they had the chalk, right? And Naya was like holding it in her left hand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, before when I said Michelle caught up in the swimming, this was the challenge act. This was the checkpoint where she did that, actually, now that I'm
Oh,
thinking,
okay,
looking
okay.
at my notes.
The
So
only
she
one that didn't,
so
what I thought
last.
was weird though, the only person that didn't have an opportunity to do that, Jenna, was Bananas. They literally said when, like Tori said on the book, oh, Bananas can't leave until Kylan gets back. Well,
Yeah,
why can't there be a 30-second runoff like everyone else is answering that question? That only takes a certain like maybe a minute for TJ to throw out some answers. Like, why couldn't
yeah.
Bananas wait a minute, then try to beat Kylan back and get third place? That one didn't make sense to me. And then the other thing is, my conspiracy here is they can't do eating challenges on this damn show anymore with Tori because she's vegetarian and they won't eat her food. So they gave coconut water just for fun. Like, what was that about? Like, are we? I
I
guess, but
think
whatever.
I don't think that's
That's just a
because of
conspiracy, Jenna. Just a conspiracy. But
it
like,
sounds like a hate conspiracy.
why is that a hate conspiracy? They
It's
never did.
very
Everyone else had
directly.
to eat meat back in the day. What are we
I
doing? What are you
know.
talking about?
True, 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 true. But my point is that I don't think this one had anything to do with Tori. I
Why
think
they?
this
Okay, fine, but like, right. So they're right.
was done a
My point
disgusting
is
thing,
that producers are like,
you
let's not even bother putting a food challenge in the final because we what are we gonna
But I'm
give?
saying I don't think that was because of Tori. They could have done moldy tofu or
No,
whatever. They could have eaten
fine.
like fingernails. I don't know. But I think they actually were like genuinely trying to throw them a bone for once because this was probably such a grueling, like they also have to make sure people stay healthy. So I think they
Yeah,
were like,
what were
okay,
they like? On all
we're
honesty,
making
maybe like behind the scenes, did they give them a meal at some point? Like that's
right? They had to have had
BS. Like they
granola
have.
bars and water. Like we didn't see any of
Why can't
it,
they
but
give them like a real meal? Why can't they have a sandwich? Like why you can't like
yeah, they had to have,
it's
right? I
ridiculous,
mean,
right? Like why can't they they all get a sandwich? They all have the same amount of energy. I don't know. It just seems interesting. I don't know, whatever. So, any other thoughts on mathematical leisure?
uh, fun. It was fun. It was
I
fun.
did. I
I
liked
liked
it. I
it.
like a challenge like this because we can actually participate in it. And like my one last thing I'll say is like they were writing down the answer as TJ said it. I'm sorry, but like I know your brain is mush, but just listen to what he has to say. Writing it
Yeah,
down is going to take longer, dude. Just
they didn't
listen
have to write it.
and
Yeah.
do the math in your head. You didn't have to write it down, but they also didn't know how long each equation was going to be. We knew because we heard it 500. It was literally like a multiplication and then an addition, or sometimes with a double
You're right. They
subtraction.
did not know what they were walking into. They
Right.
probably thought like, oh, let me write down. It's going to be like,
A long thing. Right.
138 times 7 minus 15 plus 35 divided by. They probably thought it was going to be this super long thing. Yeah.
Right.
Um, yeah, I think Bananas having to stay on the island the entire time as Kylan swam back was pretty harsh,
Right.
especially because Kylan was the slowest swimmer. I mean, if anything, like that's what I would have complained about if I were Bananas, maybe in
Right.
this Entertainment Weekly
Like
article when he's
why
talking
was he
about,
forced to automatically get fourth? Because if swimming is part of the game where you saw Michelle sneak back up,
yeah.
why
I know.
can't
I
he
guess
have a
it's where
chance?
they're trying to maybe they're trying to like equalize the fact that they have so much damn swimming in this and they're, the penny counting and the singing and the math was the way for them to be like, okay, well, we'll offset some of this swimming with some of these, quirky games. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think him having to wait the entire time is maybe a little bit harsh, but that's the game, right? As we say.
Right, right. There you go.
Oh,
Okay. The final checkpoint, I guess you call it checkpoint 7, was called Champions Cove.
mm-hmm.
Um, there was swimming here. No, they had to use they got an underwater scooter for this final one. Again, they threw him another bone, like you just said, Jenna. Um, I want one of these, by the way. This looks awesome. I want an underwater scooter. I mean, I don't know when I would use it.
Cool.
I don't live on a lake anymore, but
It's
like that
cool,
seems
but
like
I'm
so much fun.
yes, very cool thing to do. But for me in the final, not my favorite. Didn't really like this. Couldn't it just felt like why? Felt like this is not is this a
They
challenge?
they
Like
needed a final
yes, they're
checkpoint.
tired. They're tired and I hate it. I understand it's super grueling. Like I've talked about it to death about how hard I know this swimming is, but like I still don't need to watch them. It's like them being on jet skis all of a sudden.
Like,
Like
how
this
about this
isn't
though?
like a
Like,
fun this
why
isn't a
can't
fun
they?
excursion. Like this isn't like a challenge. I don't know. I guess
No,
it's
so because well for this
challenging,
one, all they
but
had to do, they had to swim down and get one of those like medallions or whatever.
yeah.
Why couldn't they do like a mini game thing inside the cave, like some type of unique? They have a bunch of like, I don't know, floating tubes. They have to throw a ball into the tube. Like, because if someone can't do that, then maybe Kylan actually has a chance to catch up. And like, why couldn't they have like just added in a few random things like that, some chancy ass carnival game stuff? Because I
Yeah.
always find those entertaining to watch because you see people get frustrated, things of that nature. I mean, not to do one where like when what's her face got hurt and it knocked her back and then she broke her nose, but like
Yeah.
little carnival gamey things like that are interesting. Like why not throw some of that in? Why? So
I just
that
felt
that's
like
what was
it
missing
was
for me in this final because obviously there was plenty of puzzles. There was swimming. Obviously you needed endurance. There wasn't a lot of stuff that required strength. Um, I guess just strength of the mind to keep swimming, but like give me some carnival games. Give me something that requires some type of athletic ability besides swimming. I don't know, just that's what was missing for me.
yeah, I mean, I felt for me in this last checkpoint, it was just so much of them being on the water scooters. It
Yeah.
was just so much
How
of
about
them.
that aerial view though of like them all like they were all laid out straight and you could all see them all like just like it was really cool shots. Like they did a
Yeah,
really good
but
job capturing everything.
that's kind of like I'm saying all it was. Like
I
had
know.
that one little dive to get their tokens. Sure, it was maybe a little like that was all like the editing because everyone fucking got their tokens and got out
I
of there.
know.
But
That's what I'm saying. A
they
carnival
have
game
for
to mix it up to like make it more chancy. So like Jordan, what if Jordan's not good at something for once, and like someone can catch up to that? Like I don't know anything, and at least to mix up 2, 3, 4 with. I'm talking the guys mostly, but any of the good girls. Same what the heck could happen with the girls. Like remember I got like Tori couldn't throw an axe. Remember that one? Haha. I brought it up multiple times now. But like something like that to mix it up, like make someone not good at something.
yeah,
So
for sure. Or that last checkpoint, could have been something on land that was challenging. Like again, I'm not
I
trying
know
to
I
just
agree.
shit on the water thing. Like I get it. Like and that like I said, it's gonna be how this season is remembered. Sure, whatever. I'm over it, but I'm just saying in terms of difficulty level, them doing the motor scooter things just didn't hit the mark for me. It was like, okay, so they're like riding on a little fucking thing in the water. Like that's not anything to do with the challenge. Like
No, that
that
goes. That's me saying
one
I
final
am.
where they zip lined off the water and they just like dove into the water is like their last thing that they did. It was like, how is that a part of the final? Like, this is the last checkpoint of the final. Just make them do something or don't. Like, if they're just gonna sit on a motorized thing, then just
And usually the last checkpoint of the final is the most like grueling thing ever, but they get bailed out with a water scooter. So like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, that's just how I felt. Yeah, exactly.
Um, okay. And then they all get back on this SSS Sinister, and we
We
announce
find
the
out what
winners.
happens.
We find out what happens. We find out that it's worth two karma points. We've already kind of broken this down.
I mean, we didn't go, I mean, we
But we
didn't.
can go into more detail about it if you want. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jordan, clear winner, hands down, amazing job. This final was made for you. You killed it. Yes, you cannot discredit that at all. It was a
Yeah.
great one. Congratulations to him. Also, a big congratulations to Derek. He
Yeah.
performed fantastic. He
Yeah.
was in it. He showed his endurance, his mental strength. Like he performed very well. He does more than deserving for his second place finish, and a huge congrats to him. And Bananas, you're in third, buddy. That's what it is.
And well, that's why I didn't have much to say on the guys because I do think, and like I said it earlier in the show, I think they all deserve where they placed. I don't, whatever. I mean, just
Yeah.
that is what it is. So,
Yeah, and
uh,
poor I did like laugh and they handled it very well, right? Where like Kylie gets fourth and you just know that means he's leaving with nothing. And
right,
he
nothing
just
to you.
smiles, but you gotta know that that's almost like, yes, you made it to the final. That's what you want to do. It's obviously better than leaving right before the final or like getting eliminated during the season. But there's just something so like gut punching about making it there and then being like, you're the one person out of your gender that didn't place. You're the one person leaving here with no money. Like there's something
Yeah.
about that
But
that's
I
just
mean,
like,
there was also like
oh,
but
dude.
he also beat out a ton of guys to get there. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, it just, similar with Tori, she gets the fourth place. Uh, she gets fourth place and she's just like, shit, like I don't want to be disappointed, but I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
Because yeah, there's something kind of embarrassing about that. Like you're standing on this boat with everybody else is leaving with money and a medal, whatever they place. And then you're like, no, you got fourth. You got the one thing that you didn't want to get, and now you're leaving
Yeah.
with no money.
And I mean, we can talk about the girls again. I think Jenny was deserving of first. I thought Michelle should be second. Rachel should be third. I mean, I obviously thought it should have just gone by the numbers of what happened in the final. You didn't, well, did it bother you as much that Rachel got boosted literally to first and literally Jenny's money got cut in half technically? If I'm Jenny, I might be a little upset too, but I mean, she had the worst karma votes as well. She only got like the
I
two
mean,
points. So,
no, I can't say that anything bothered me
okay.
because then I would be hypocritical to my whole first like going
Right.
at Anna's about him complaining about the karma votes. That's what the game was. So that's just what it was. Yeah, Rachel didn't have the best final, but she was loved on this season. And this was the season of the karma votes, and that boosted her. Like it was pretty much fives across the board for her.
Yeah.
So that's just what it was. I mean, if I was Michelle personally, I probably feel some type of way, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe would respect the game. If
At
I'm
least
Jen,
she still got, and
maybe.
see, and that's the thing.
But
At least she got some money still. But at the same
yeah,
time, I am real. I mean, I get it. When you have two people, they always just the third person, even if the first two tie, they always get third. It's for anything. It's for games. It's any type of sporting. It's just they just automatically get third. The team would. I still think like give her like well, you know what? Because they can make any rules they want. These producers. And they made two people split, so they were obviously going to save 75K or 25K. Come on, you already had the money that you were going to be giving out. I honestly I was thinking like the producers making this final so hard, they want everyone to quit so they don't have to give out all this damn money at the end. Like it's getting mad expensive. We used to give out $1,000 for third place. We used to give out $3,000 for first place. Now we give out a freaking $1 million total. Like my God. Um, so I have a few things. Any final thoughts on this season? Because I have a few fun
I
things I
mean,
want to do here at the end here.
Jenny seemed more than happy to share first place with
I
Rachel.
agree, she did.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, they're happy. The girls are good. I think Michelle was hurt a little bit.
Oh, a
Uh,
little bit,
yeah.
a
I
lot of
mean,
it.
she took it. She took it.
Do you blame her though? Do you blame her for being a little hurt? I mean, I thought she had a great season and a great final. And look, this is coming from the guy that doesn't even think
Yeah.
Michelle's that great of a competitor. I thought she had a
I mean, I
great
guess
season.
that's what I'm saying in like yeah, like you can feel whatever you want for that individual person. Like if I'm saying it annoyed me that Bananas was complaining about it, then I can't necessarily be like, but I felt bad for this person. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could, right? Because people have different personalities. But yeah, I mean, it just was the game. So I don't know. It just
Yeah.
that's where the chips landed on this one for everyone. everybody. So, but yeah, if I was her or if I was somebody personally, then I'd probably be hurt by it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. So a few things here. One, we obviously we took a lot of prep work to think of the mailbag, right? You got a bunch of good ones to talk about, Jenna?
No, but I
Okay.
well,
Okay, good.
yes, yes, I
It's
do.
okay if you don't. I have just one that I think was a good talking point for us. But if you don't have one, that's
I
fine.
have the one. I have the one. Did I read it yet? The one
It's the
about
top. I
water.
think it's the top result, right?
Not anymore, I don't think. I have the
Oh, I
one.
have it here if you
Uh,
want. I thought it was a top
Adam,
result.
this is the one I was speaking about before. So hopefully you've been with us this entire show so far that I can make it full
Yeah,
circle.
yeah. At Adam
Adam Velez,
Velez.
Velez.
Yeah. We
I'm
got
so
it.
bad
We
at
Good
pronouncing
teamwork. Good
Velez.
teamwork. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm speaking about, tallying up the amount of swimming. So he said, Kyland wrote on Twitter that they calculated this final had more swimming in it than the past 20 seasons combined. That's
Yeah.
how much damn swimming was done. That's insane. If
Well,
that's
get
true,
first of all, who is
wait,
who are they? Who are they? Second of all, conspiracy. I think Kylan just calculated it himself because he's the calculator, and just to make himself feel better
I
about
mean,
performing like
listen,
crap in a final. But there you
Adam
go.
Velez, thank you for commenting and watching. But
For sure.
well,
Yeah.
well, it's not him. It's not Adam Velez. It's
No, I
Kylan.
know it's not. I
It's
know.
Kylan. Yeah. I was saying it as such just because got lost in my mind. But it's not you, Adam. It's Kylan. Kylan's the one that wrote it on Twitter. So how do we know how to
Yes.
trust you, Kylan? And then somebody else comes back at Adam and says, "Well, he
Right.
wanted to compete against the best so bad. Well, he got what he wanted." And yeah, fair point too. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Who was that commented? We should read their name then.
Oh, you're right. John June Cook.
Oh, I didn't I didn't look at it if it was going to be hard to pronounce. I just that'd have been funnier if I purposely tried to make you say I didn't even. Okay, there you go. I didn't know if it was hard to pronounce. You want me to try to pronounce it
I
too?
don't know either. I just don't want to mispronounce anybody's
All right,
name.
whatever. Okay, so let me do mine here. I got an easy one because 23 Philly cheese, huge friend of the show, friend of the podcast, wrote, "I'm actually excited for All Stars. This cast looks like drama." And I'm going to agree with Philly cheese on this. Is with a rivals season, the drama should sell itself. We should have plenty of drama because, in theory, if they are rivals, even if they're acting, even if they're really not that much of rivals and they kind of just had to throw them together, which I do think some of the teams are thrown together more than others, 100%. I think Nani and Turbo, I do think that they are rivals. I think that they were so mad at each other that one season. My point is
Mhm.
here, though, I think that it's going to be able to allow them to entertain us a little bit easier, even if they're acting, to get some type of fun out there. So I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best cast. I wish they could get better players in there. I wish they get more entertaining. But I think that the rivals theme will help them entertain us. Jenna, what do you think?
I agree that I think it should be fun. I do think the cast is drama. I think the cast is good. My
Okay,
complaint or my opinion on it or laughing at it was just simply because it is called All Stars, and then it
of
feels
course
like
not.
with
Yeah,
every, when they start All Star season one, it is like everybody had to have won a final or something, right? Like there was a qualification, there was a standard,
yes.
or like somebody was a historic part of the game. They had some sort of uh qualification that they were bringing to the term all-star. And
Wait, you
with
mean Dario's not
right,
a
so as
legend here?
the seasons pass, right, it just started getting more and more watered down. And this was the like most jarring example of that, where we started going through the lineup and it was like, oh, they just called anyone. So no more
Yeah.
like, okay, we could maybe, I don't know. I'm being nitpicky. We could maybe drop the all-stars out of the name.
Yeah. Okay, I got a game I'm gonna play with you. It's and
Oh, love it.
everyone at home can play along too.
Don't make it be math, please.
It's not math. It's not math. Well, it's kind of math, but it's not math. Okay.
Make it
So
be math. Don't
every
make it be swimming. Don't make it be riding a bike blindfolded. Actually, I think I would suck at the challenge. So that's why I'm going to sit here and talk about it and not go on
Perfect.
the
This is you're in the right spot. So every
show.
year at the end of the show, obviously the career money leaderboard changes, meaning the most money that's ever been won on the show gets changed because of the different winners and it gets, moved around everybody this. they have a list here that they came out with. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, of course. The top 10 money winners of the challenge of all time. So before you answer, Jenna, all right, let's give some people some time in the comments. I'll give them 10 seconds. They're obviously not going to write it now. You're not going to get spoiled, but I just want to give them some time there. Start writing, start commenting. If you can name any of the top 10, because and then we'll see about that. And
Okay.
all right.
Give us the question one more time.
Okay. The career money earnings, the leaderboard. It's going to the 1 through 10. You don't have to do it in order, Jenna.
I'm
All
gonna write
right.
the people down.
But you can
Okay.
think of the people that have who has won the most. Here, I'll say it differently. Who's won the most money on the challenge? Who has taken
And then
home the
with
most
the
money?
top
Now
10.
remember, Jen, I'll give you a hint. Obviously, in later seasons, it's not even a hint. We all know this. They win a lot more money now than they used to. So some of these people are legends. Others only won maybe one time, but they won so much money more recently that they get to be on this list. So that's your only hint that you'll get. Okay.
Uh,
This is fun, Jen. This is really fun. You don't have to get them. This is fun. But
no,
this is so easy,
I
Jen. You
have
can
to
get some of
win.
them just off the top. Come on, ready? Here we go. Give me the obvious ones.
Okay, bananas.
Okay, duh. Okay,
Sure.
perfect. He's
Banana.
actually he's third. So now that'll maybe help
Oh,
you.
wow. So
That'll
is George
maybe help you that there's two people that have won more than him. Bananas has won $1,222,720 doing this. So there you go.
has Jordan surpassed him with this latest win?
You nailed it. Jordan, number one, 1,131,000 on the dot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, I want to say CT, but maybe not
Perfect.
in.
So he's number two. You got in the top three right off the bat. Jenna, you're doing better than all the viewers at home.
Wow.
I don't know what they did yet, but we'll just
Okay.
pretend.
You're really gassing me up here.
1,375,000. There
I
you go.
want to put Cara in the mix, but
You want to put Kara on here. Kara placed one, two, three, four, five, six, seventh place, 627,250.
wow. I'm running out of, I
I'll
think
give
West,
you a hint. There's one other
West
person. One
again.
other person is over a million. One other person.
Fuck,
And
why?
think about it. It kind of relates to a banana situation.
Oh, Ashley.
Ashley, when she stole the money from Hunter, that put her over the top. Obviously, because before that she had a 121,000, but because of the million that she won, she's at 1,121,250. She's in fourth
She
place.
had been in another final, right? So she had.
She had won other money at on the show at some point. She had to have because she's at 1,121,000, so she had to win money somewhere else
She's
at
fourth
some.
place.
She's in fourth place. That's just because she stole the
Wow.
money, though. I mean, she hasn't. I mean, she's not the most. She's, you know what? She's a solid competitor. I have to think back at what she's done. She's actually done. She had some pretty good seasons, and you know what? She's on this latest season of All Stars, so I'm excited to see her back actually to see what she does. You
Fourth
have the
place.
top four, and you have the seventh place. You're
What about
missing.
West? Where's
You're
West in
missing
there?
five, six, eight, nine, 10.
Where's West?
Yes, Wes is at nine at 553,000 on the dot.
Okay. Um,
Something that this is going to be one you'll never get, so I'll just give it to you. It
no,
rhymes
I
with
have. Oh, I have one that I want to guess. I want to guess Casey for that win with CT because that
Casey's
was.
not on this list.
Okay,
No,
good, good.
she must
No,
be
that's the
just below.
controversial one that we always talk
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. She must be just below.
Um,
Okay, I'll give you the hint for the fun one. It rhymes with Wes. Not no, but yes, I don't know how he pulled this off, but he's won 511,000. I think 254.
Steph,
Huh?
less. I'm like,
Who's
who's less?
less? Yeah. Who's best? Yeah, so yes, you're missing a girl, two girls and a guy. One of
Oh,
them is from this
how am I
season, so I mean
missing
that's
the
pretty good.
girls? How am I missing the
One of them's
girls?
from this season,
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny, because she had won last time.
Yeah.
Jenny's at an even 500 thousand. However, yeah, she had 500,000. Um, but when I'm trying to think, maybe they look like they put another amount next to her, like her new earnings. Yeah, I think it's 500 plus her 237.
Hmm.
So they well, whatever.
Could
So
be
she's still, but
Tori,
she's
no?
still there in six. So you're missing eighth place. It's a female that's no longer allowed to be on the show.
Oh, Camilla.
Camilla. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. 566,250. So there you go. There's your top 10. For everyone playing at home, let us know in the comments how many you got before Jenna spoiled everything with her answers.
Yes, it's all my fault.
You know what I was
It's all
thinking? I was thinking about this final. One last thought for this season is you've played Mario growing up, like Mario 64 on the N64, or any Mario would work with this. But you notice like there's different types of levels. Like I'm serious. There's ice levels, there's desert levels, there's swimming levels. And that's kind of
Yes.
what the finals are. I'm just like thinking this because like with Mario, the swimming levels were always my
You don't know
least
what you're gonna
favorite.
get.
Huh? Oh,
You don't know what you're gonna get.
you don't know what you're
Like
gonna
you
get. You just show
make it
up.
to the
You're like, oh,
finals,
this is a
you
swimming
can be in the
level. Okay.
sand.
Right.
Yes.
And like it's funny because like the swimming levels in Mario 64 alone were like my least favorite levels because they were like kind of a pain in the ass. But this I actually kind of enjoyed. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of a kind of a fun comparison. That's all. Just wanted to bring that up before we leave season 40 behind us. Because you know what? We have a 2 week reunion to prep for, Jenna, and then we go right into All-Star season 5.
It's two
Right.
reunions. It's a part one and part two
I heard
reunion.
it's part. I heard. I don't know for sure. I heard it's part one and part two. Yes, ma'am.
And then it goes right into All Stars.
Yes, I know, Jenna. And you know what? Fans of the show only watch when you're on. Some of them. I've been told in the comments, no, you can listen, read the comments. There's a comment I think last week that literally said, I only watch when Jenna's on. So thank God you
Oh my
showed up
God.
tonight.
That's silly.
That's silly.
No, I love doing this. I really do. And I
But
love
I
you guys.
don't, but Jenna, I don't
Yeah.
blame you for, I
I
would like
just
a couple weeks off
I
too. I'm
just
with you on that. Yeah.
we're old and have children and I'm just
Yeah.
tired. Because I do this East Coast time later than Pam and Dan on the West Coast. So I'm just tired. Just want to go to sleep some
I
nights,
know. I
once a
agree.
week.
But Jenna, the fans will forgive you if you have to miss a week. I will be here. I will hold down the fort with one of you
Dan
two.
is
And
always here.
here's the thing, if both of you can't make it, I will find somebody. I will pull somebody that's a challenge fan that I know somewhere and I will convince them to jump on. But we haven't had
Yeah.
to do that yet. We've been pretty good about getting at least one person to rock and roll here. Um, yeah, Pam is out this week for a couple reasons. One, she actually was telling us that she's literally housing some people from LA because of the LA fires. Like she has some people staying with her because of what's going down up in LA. I'm luckily 30 minutes south of LA. It's spreading like crazy. I don't think it's going to get down to me here, thank God. And then Pam's obviously out in Palm Springs, um, so she should be good where she is. But yeah, it's crazy out here right now. Um,
Yeah,
even
it
it even
looks
smells outside my house. It smells like smoke, and I'm 30 miles south,
yeah.
near Anaheim. So it's crazy.
No, it's so
Um,
destructive and so horrific to see. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
but yeah, I we don't need to get into all that. But yeah, it just obviously prayers to all them because it's insane. I have plenty. I mean, I'm sure you still have friends in LA, Jenna, don't you? Yeah, I checked in with all my friends in LA, just like it's every like they said they're good. Like my buddy Dave lives in my old apartment.
wow.
I hooked him up with my old apartment like in like right in the heart of LA when I moved, in with Stacy. I was like, Dave, like let me hook you up, man. And now him and his wife are in that apartment. So I checked in with him the other day and I saw pictures from their apartment. It's all like it's smoke. The
Mhm.
sky is literally like dark around my old place. It's crazy. And we had
Yeah.
one like in 2017, there was another wildfire. I mean, there's situations with wildfires all the time and like once a year basically. And I remember living in that apartment having ash falling at my apartment that time. And I can
Oh,
only assume it's the same, even it's got to be worse now because it's like
yeah.
the worst thing ever that's happening out there. So,
It's hard to be home.
anyways, all right. On that note, let's get out of here. We'll see y'all next week for the reunion, which I'm excited for.
I'm always excited for them.
I'm
I
always
just
excited for a reunion. I just hope that it's good, and when it's good, it's the best. So I'm hoping. Yeah.
yeah, they have to let people give us breathing room. It doesn't need to be so, okay, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
No,
and look, our old boss at
fight it out.
AfterBuzz, Maria's the one running it. She's very knowledgeable. I always think that she does a good job, but like let it breathe, Maria. And you know what? Also, like camera people, I know it's already this reunion's already been filmed, by the way, but I want that behind the scenes stuff. I want the behind the scenes stuff too. It's the best.
Yeah. And honestly, and this is not like a because we were at AfterBuzz. I think Maria is like the best reunion host. Like I always think she does a fantastic job. It's also it's
Yeah,
edited a reunion. It's not a live reunion. So you can tell that like they'll
yeah.
just cut people off in the
I
middle of
know.
arguments or like, you
Right.
know, that they can condense them, they can shorten them. Yeah, they definitely need to let it breathe. They need to let the altercations and the fights happen. Or confrontations rather, not
Yeah.
altercations.
Oh, well, there
You
could
don't
be
need
maybe
people.
one.
Yeah, you want. But like, I'm not over here promoting violence. I just
No.
mean let the if people are gonna, have these very fiery, dramatic conversations, let them ride out. Let's
Right, right,
okay,
right.
let's, tie the knot instead of just stop. Let's make it awkward and move on when
We'll
they're still
notice, and we'll notice when
ruminating.
they do
Let it
it,
go.
they'll just all of a sudden the conversation just ends. They throw in some applause, and then it goes right. It's like it's such an
Yeah,
awkward cut. They try so hard to make it
so
seem
cut.
natural, but it's
So
not.
choppy. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like, did she even finish her sentence? And then it's like
Right.
ADD whiplash over to the next conversation. I was like, wait, I still was trying to think about what she just went off on her
Right.
about. Why are we switching over here?
So, I mean, we're gonna get a 3 hour reunion then? If it's an hour and a half each one, that's a 3 hour. I mean, technically with commercials, it'll be about 2 hours, but still.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
Is there
We're
a
hoping to
moment
get what's
that
that?
is there a moment that you are looking forward to rehashing? I can't really think of anything right
Oh,
now.
I
Maybe
mean, you know what? If there was more drama, if the show was more drama based like it used to be, then of course I would be. And maybe with All Stars we'll get more of that drama side of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, we're gonna get a Johnny and Tori thing. Maybe they're gonna go because I mean, you heard Johnny at the end of this final. He's like, "You see, Michelle and Tori got what they deserve, third and fourth place." I'm like, Johnny. I mean, come on, they made the final though, dude. I don't
you
know.
two you got third place. So like who do
Yeah,
you yeah.
exactly. Right.
Everyone got what they deserve then.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
seeing the thing is, like I was saying earlier, and I don't this isn't like a bananas hit piece. I respect him and like him in a lot of ways as well. We've had him, back in the day on AfterBuzz, we did an interview with him and he was like playful to have on. It was a fun time. Um but what I was just going off about earlier is like he's always defensive, man. Like he
I
can never
know.
say anything one single time that isn't defense mode.
Here's
Like,
here's the thing
let's
about him
say
though,
one
Jenna.
thing once that, like, I got what I deserved in the fight. Like, there's just no,
Right. But
never a
that's
thing
what's missing.
like
So like
that.
Jenna, half the stuff he says is spot on. Like he's not wrong with what he's saying, but then he takes it to that an extra level where he's like, well, everyone's jealous of me, blah blah. No, instead of taking to that level, go back on the other side of things, say, well, I did steal $500,000, so maybe that is going to affect the rest of my challenge career. But
That's
he
my
will never.
karma.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. Oh, there's the car. And see,
Yeah.
there's the karma. Right. Exactly. You've won
There's
enough.
just
You
like,
stole money, bro. Maybe if you did share that money, but then again, most likely they still be after you. So good for you stealing the money, but quit you bitching when it comes to the rest of your time on the show now, dude.
yeah, just the whole thing.
Whatever.
Like he's always like super. Now we're just see what I mean. We're just going down the bananas rabbit hole. But
Well,
it's just like
it is
he
what
can
it
be
is.
such a hypocrite with the way he plays the game versus people doing the same exact thing, but they're doing it in a stupid way. They're doing it in a vindictive way. They're doing it in a backstabbing way, and it's like you're doing all those things, but instead you promote it as it's the best way to play the game, and it's savvy, and it's this and it's that. Versus, the way that he uses his terms and the way he defends himself versus of what everybody else is doing. If it's the same thing, it's just like how? Yeah. So it'll
I'm
be
sure
interesting.
plenty
Like,
of people will
when you
agree with
talk
you in the
about so when you talk about the reunion and how like him and Tori are probably going to get into it, him and Michelle and Devin, it's just like he's never ever gonna say anything where he's gonna be like, listen, that was maybe okay. I see your point.
right. But thank God we have them there through evening because at least
Thank
some
God.
drama is going to get brought up. So, all right. We'll see y'all next week. Can't wait for this reunion. And hopefully we'll have Pam back. So it'll be great. Three of us talking reunion stuff. We'll see y'all later. Bye.